A Call of Duty movie sounds like a guaranteed hit, right? Massive IP, iconic characters, a worldwide fan base. What could possibly go wrong? Well, actually a lot. So today we're gonna break down how Paramount could either make the next Top Gun Maverick or end up with just another generic war flick. So let's talk about what they need to get right to turn Call of Duty into a real cinematic win. Let's start with what makes it a potential goldmine. Call of Duty is one of the most successful entertainment franchises on Earth. So we're talking about over 400 million units sold, a player base in the hundreds of millions, and characters like Captain Price, Soap, Ghost, and even Woods, who are in some cases more recognizable than a lot of superheroes right now. So there's clearly demand, but demand alone isn't enough. Paramount has all the tools, but do they have the vision? So I don't want this video to have an overall negative tone, so let's just get this out of the way up front. Here's what Paramount can't afford to do. They cannot make this a generic military shooter. If this turns into just explosions, banter, and bodies, it's doomed. The Call of Duty campaigns work because they tell stories, not just randomly shooting stuff. They cannot cramp every Call of Duty era into one film. World War II, Cold War, Modern Warzone, Zombies, pick a lane. But cramping it all into one movie would confuse casual viewers, and I really feel like it would alienate a lot of us as fans. They cannot skip on characters. Ghost isn't iconic because he wears a mask. He's iconic because of his loyalty, his sacrifice, and if you don't feel for the squad, then what's the point? They can't ignore the political themes, and I know they might be tempted to do so. But Call of Duty doesn't shy away from this gray morality. The torture, collateral damage, corrupt intelligence agencies. If this movie avoids these tones in place of hoorah action, it'll feel fake and empty. All right, admittedly, this is the reason I made this video. So let's get into what Paramount should do to make this movie actually work. Personally, I'd like them to start with Modern Warfare. I feel like we've had enough World War era movies to date. Now, I don't need them to reinvent the wheel, because the rebooted Call of Duty from 2019 was literally tailor-made for cinema. Like global black ops, gray area missions, chemical weapons, civilian tension, betrayal, and most importantly, Captain Price. Like, imagine Sicario with Zero Dark 30, but with Ghost and Soap like clearing buildings in London. Or remember the busy city street scene from Call of Duty like Modern Warfare 1? Or like infiltrating terror cells in Uzbekistan? That could be the movie. Okay, the second thing I think they could do is make it a little bit more grounded in like the emotional character arcs. And I know, hear me out. I don't mean overly emotional or overly dramatic. I think the COD campaigns work because it's the bonds between the soldiers, not just the guns they carry. Let us feel the brotherhood. Let us feel the loss, the doubt, even the trauma. I think that's what made like Top Gun Maverick work, not just the jets. Ghost and Soap aren't superheroes. They're soldiers, and they're soldiers that have maybe seen a little too much. And I think they should be focused on the conflict, and I think that kind of goes hand in hand with them picking a genre or an era of Call of Duty to make the movie about. They should be direct with their goals for the film. One villain, one mission, one objective, keep the stakes very clear. Maybe it's stopping a rogue general from using a bioweapon. Maybe it's hunting down an arms dealer, playing all sides. Either way, just keep it tight. And they really, to make this work, they need to hire real talent, not just action guys. Don't just grab any old war movie director. Get someone with some style, maybe some control, someone who can shoot chaos and silence equally well. And I think if they do those things properly, they can actually lay the groundwork to expand in the future. Don't treat it like the Call of Duty cinematic universe right out of the gate. Maybe start with a great film. And if it works, you've got maybe Black Ops prequels. You've got a Ghost solo spin-off. Maybe Zombies, an R-rated horror thriller. And maybe actually, what about a crossover event like Task Force 141 versus the CIA? And let me be clear, they can't move forward with this unless they earn it. Now, we've all seen this before. A big game franchise rushes into theaters with no soul. Or maybe they weren't necessarily rushed and equally lack some soul. Think the Halo TV show. If Paramount treats Call of Duty like a cash-in, it'll fail just like the rest. But if they treat it like respect, if they go full modern war thriller, tap into what makes these stories powerful, and let us care about the squad, then this movie could actually surprise a lot of people, not just fans, but critics too. So these are just some of my thoughts, but what do you guys think? Should they start with Modern Warfare, or do you think they should start with Black Ops first? And also drop maybe your dream casting down in the comments. And if you're a Call of Duty fan who wants to see a great adaptation done right, hit that subscribe button, because I'm going to have more content related to this subject in the near future. But anyways, this has been Anthony with the Unprofessional Critics. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Subscribe for more headlines throughout the week, games, and 60-second reviews.